I give all praise. I give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Ha Rakat Kwadash. Double honors unto our apostle elders, which rule great millstone wow, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel, wa abab abal. All right, so this is Second Ezra, chapter 1, and I'll start at 3. It says, the son of Aaron, which he goes through the lineage in 1 and 2. But just to get to the point, it says the son of Aaron. So he shows his lineage goes back to Aaron of the tribe of Levi. This is Ezra, as he's in Babylon. He was, I believe, born in Babylon. Last time if I remember correctly, he wasn't carried away. Ezra was born in Babylon. Let me see. Yes. Ezra was born in Babylon. He was not carried away. Okay, let's move on. It says, the son of Aaron of the tribe of Levi, which was captive in the land of the Medes, in the region of Artaxerxes, king of the Persians, which he's also known as Xerxes. And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, go thy way and show my people their sinful deeds, their sons their wickedness which they have done against me, that they may tell their children's children. All right, so it's a prophecy because they're going to tell their children's children. Isaiah 58 and 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and show my people, which are the Israelites, their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins. All right, the Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, which have been scattered throughout the world in slavery. All right, they follow after idols today, right, because we're in captivity. But the Lord has the elect waking up out of the darkness of this world, and we're revealing that light by prophecy, which it's not, of us as being men, but of Almighty Yahweh Ba'asham Yahweh Shai through the Holy Spirit. It says in Daniel 12 verse 2, and many of them that sleep in the dust is the confusion of the earth, shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt, because some of the Israelites are going to be in the lake of fire, the nuclear destruction of Babylon the Great, aka America. All right, because they forsook the Lord. It says in 2 Ezra 1 verse 6, because the sins of their fathers are increased in them, meaning they become worse than their forefathers. Isaiah 1 and 3, the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib, but Israel does not know, my people do not consider. Ah, sinful nation, a people laden with iniquity, seed of evildoers, sons, which includes the daughters, but it's speaking to the men that are corrupters. They have forsaken Yahweh, because if you were in the way of Yahweh, you would be ruling over your women. But instead, today, in the way of the wicked, right, they put the woman on a pedestal and the man is put under the woman. They have provoked the Holy One of Israel unto anger. They are gone away backward, right? They changed the order that the Lord created. Now you got men trying to be women. You got men laying with men like women. So this place is wicked and corrupt. And you got Israelites that are practicing that corruption. Why should ye be stricken any more, ye shall revolt more and more. And that's been proven through these different captivities. You just got worse. The whole head is sick and the whole heart faint. You saw with Yahushua when he went in to deal with the leaders of Israel at the time he came as the Messiah, right? He cursed that fig tree, which represented those leaders, all right? But he's got a remnant of men that he's going to preserve, which he has preserved, and he's going to establish them as the leaders, which they have kept his word. All right, the word of Yahweh, which speaks of Yahushai. So these are the men that he's going to establish, as which he's already done in this wicked realm, starting with the head apostles and elders that rule Great Millstone Wow, and which taught me the truth. All right. It says the whole head is sick, the whole heart faint. All right. So Israel, really, without the elect being preserved, it would be destroyed. All right. It says in Isaiah 1 verse 9, except Yahweh of hosts had left unto us a very small remnant, we should have been as Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah, which you can't find Sodom or Gomorrah, right? It got wiped off the face of the earth from fire coming down from heaven. All right, so the Israelites would be wiped away, extinct. All right, they would be allowed to be extinct if the Lord didn't preserve that elect of righteous Israelites, which the righteousness is not of ourselves, but of the Lord. So Malachi 3 verse 6, for I am Yahweh, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. And what's good about this, it starts with John the Baptist, which prepared the way for Yahushai. And he came again as Elijah. All right. As Elijah in a past life, but it was prophesied that Elijah or John the Baptist would come again, all right, reincarnated before the great and dreadful day of the Lord, which he came as Abba Bivens. All right, Malachi 3 verse 1, behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And that's what we're doing. We're preparing the way before the Lord, and it started with Abba Bivens in 1969 in Harlem, which is John the Baptist, Abba Bivens, Elijah. And the Lord whom ye seek shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith Yahweh of hosts. All right, Malachi 4 verse 5, behold, I will send you Elijah, which this is John the Baptist, Abba Bivens, the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahweh. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the sons, and the heart of the sons to the fathers. Which you had after Abba Bivens, you had 1 West King Masha, High Priest Yaquab, High Priest Ariah. Now in this generation you have the apostles and elders that rule Great Millstone Wow, and which taught us the truth. All right, this is what it says here. You're going to get Elijah, which is Abba. Verse 6, and he shall turn the heart of the fathers, which the elders after him was King Masha, and they had the elders of 1 West, to the sons, which out of that school, out of 1 West, came our apostles. And the heart of the sons, which were students, became elders, right? And now there are elders, the fathers of our nation, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse, which it tells you in Romans 1 verse 3, concerning his son Yahushua HaMashiach our Lord, which was made of the seed of David according to the flesh, and declared to be the Son of Yahweh with power, according to the Spirit of holiness, which he kept the law, by the resurrection from the dead, which he was resurrected from the dead. by whom we have received grace, which is instruction unto salvation, and apostleship, which are leadership. They're supposed to teach us in that way, which Yahushua is the way. So this is why we give double honors to the apostle elders, which taught us the truth. And we every time we do that, we also put at the beginning of the video all praises and glory to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushua, because this is of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushua and not just of an earthly man, which it says in 2 Corinthians 4, verse 7, but let me get 5. It says, "For we preach not ourselves, but Hamashiach Yahushai, the Lord, and ourselves your servants for Yahushua's sake. For Yahweh, through his son Yahushua, who commanded the light to shine out of darkness, which is shining through us, has shined in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of Yahweh and his son Yahushua in the face of Yahushua HaMashiach," meaning at his return. "But we have this treasure in earthen vessels, which were mortal men, but we are as gods in the spirit, that the excellency of the power may be of Yahweh through his son Yahushua and not of us." All right. So going back to that 2nd Ezra chapter 1, all right, it says in 6, but it says, "Because the sins of their fathers are increased in them, for they have forgotten me and have offered unto strange gods." And that's the sin of Israel. All right, the iniquity of Israel is they'll follow false gods. All right, it says in verse 7, "I am not I, even he that brought them out of the land of Egypt from the house of bondage, but they have provoked me unto wrath because," they have provoked me unto wrath and despised my counsels. "Pull thou off then the hair of thy head, and cast all evil upon them, for they have not been obedient unto my law, but it is a rebellious people." And this is why they were put in Babylon, first the northern kingdom and then the southern kingdom. It says in verse 6, "How long shall I forbear them, into whom I have done so much good? How long shall I forbear them, into whom I have done so much good?" Which the Israelite, it tells you that he says in Malachi 1, it says in verse 1, "The burden of the word of Yahweh to Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord Yahweh. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith Yahweh? Yet I loved Jacob." All right, and this is why we've been put in captivity, to punish us for our sins. This is showing that his word is with us. Soon he's going to bring us out of captivity and give the heathen as our slaves, because he is just. All right. Verse 3, "And I hated Esau." Esau is the forefather of the so-called white race. This is why they look that way. Okay. "And laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness," talking about the future. There's going to be a great destruction of Edom's kingdom, Babylon the Great, which is America. All right. It says in verse 10 of 2nd Ezra 1, "Many kings have I destroyed for their sakes. Pharaoh with his servants and all his power have I smitten down. All the nations have I destroyed before them, and in the east I have scattered the people of 2 provinces, even of Tyre and Sidon," which he gave us that land, which was filled with Hamites, "and have slain all their enemies." When he brought them out of Egypt, He took them in that land of Canaan, and they destroyed those Hamites in there. Speak you therefore unto them, saying, and the Lord, if you read about it, the Lord, he would say, like the Israelites were fighting them. When they tried to run away, the Lord caught them in the back. It says he put hail on them and killed even more than the Israelites killed of those heathen. Right? So the Lord, he ransomed the heathen for the Israelites' sake. Right? The heathen are nothing. It tells you that in 2nd Ezra 6, Isaiah 40. All right? They are nothing. He only cares for really his elect of the nation of Israel. It says, thus saith the Lord, it says, I lead you to the sea, and in the beginning gave you a large and safe passage. I gave you Moses for a leader and Aaron for a priest, which the leadership, Moses and Aaron, when you understand the reincarnations, that's King David, and Aaron is the Elijah the prophet, right? So in our generation, it's Abba Bivens and King Masha, all right? The Lord always had these two men, and out of these two men came forth the camps, all right, what you see today, all right? They're preparing the way for Yahweh Shai. It says, I gave you light and a pillar of fire. And let me get the... All right, so this is Abba Bivens. This is King Masha, which we got the camps through these men. All right, King David, Elijah, Aaron, Moses. This would be Joshua, High Priest Ariah. All right, which he gave us the 12 tribe sign. The Holy Spirit gave us the 12 tribe sign through him and his father. All right, High Priest Ariah, which it was carried down through the apostle elders that ruled Great Mill Stonewall, and which taught us the truth. All right, and it was all prophesied it would happen like that, so that he could preserve his favorite people, the Israelites. It says in 2nd Ezra 1 verse 14, I give you light in a pillar of fire, and great wonders have I done among you. He hasn't done this for any other nation. That's Psalm 147. Yet have ye forgotten me, saith the Lord. Thus saith Almighty Yahweh, the quails were as a token to you. I gave you tents for your safeguard. Nevertheless, ye murmured there in the wilderness, and triumphed not in my name, for the destruction of your enemies, but ever to this day do ye yet murmur. Where are the benefits that I have done for you when ye were hungry and thirsty in the wilderness? Did ye not cry unto me, saying, why hast thou brought us into this wilderness to kill us? And they murmured against Moses and Aaron with this question, did the Lord bring us out here to kill us in the wilderness? It had been better for us to have served the Egyptians than to die in the wilderness. And this is after they saw all these miracles. So these are the same 2/3 that are back in this generation that are going to eat the lake of fire. Then had I pity upon your mournings and gave you manna to eat, so ye did eat angels' bread, which represented Yahweh Shai. When ye were thirsty, did I not cleave the rock, which represented Yahweh Shai, and waters flowed out to your fill? For the heat I covered you with the leaves of the trees. I divided among you a fruitful land. I cast out the Canaanites and Perizzites and the Philistines before you. And what shall I yet do more for you, saith the Lord? Thus saith the Almighty Yahweh, when ye were in the wilderness in the river of the Amorites, being athirst and blaspheming my name, I gave you not fire for your blasphemies, but cast a tree in the water because it was bitter, and made the river sweet. What shall I do unto thee? What shall I do unto thee, O Jacob? Thou Judah, would it not obey me? I will turn me to other nations, and unto those will I give my name, that they may keep my statutes, which is a prophecy of the Lord eventually sending the Israelites to the Gentiles. All right. And this is why they beheaded Paul, because they wanted him, to stop preaching Yahushua to the Gentiles, which were Israelites that were scattered amongst the heathen. Okay. It's only given to the Israelites. He didn't give it to any other nation. It tells you in Psalm 147. Last verse. I'm going to go to the NLT so it's clear. He has not done this for any other nation. They do not know his regulations. Praise ye Yahweh. Now let's go up to 19. NLT. He has revealed his word to Jacob, his decrees and regulations to Israel. In fact, when he made Moses a god, it was by giving his name and sending him into Israel. Verse 3. Exodus 3, verse 3, and Moses said, I will turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt. And when Yahweh saw that he turned aside to see, all power called unto him out of the midst of the bush, and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Draw not nigh hither, put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground. Moreover, he said, I am the God of thy father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. See, he didn't say he's the God of Esau, all right? He said the God of Jacob. And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon our power. And Yahweh said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people, the Israelites, which are in Egypt, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land unto a good land, and a large unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Now therefore, behold, the cry of the sons of Israel is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptians oppress them. All right. Second Ezra 1 in verse 25, it says, Seeing ye have forsaken me, I will forsake you also. When ye desire me to be gracious unto you, I shall have no mercy upon you. Whensoever ye call upon me, I will not hear you. For ye have defiled your hands with blood, and your feet are swift to commit manslaughter. Right? So Israel's worse than they were back then. Ye have not, as it were, forsaken me, but your own selves, saith the Lord. All right, because we're joined to him. We're without him we're nothing. It's death. All right, and life is being joined to Yahweh through his son Yahweh Shai. But we sinned, so we weren't able to cleave to Yahweh, and that's why Yahweh Shai is our mediator. We anchor in to Yahweh through Yahweh Shai. We have remission of sin. All right. It says in verse 28, thus saith the Almighty Yahweh, have I not prayed you as a father, his sons, as a mother her daughters, and a nurse her young babes, that ye would be my people, and I should be your power, that ye would be my sons, and I should be your father. I gathered you together as a hen gathereth her chickens under her wings, which even Yahweh Shai said this when he was looking up to Jerusalem, and he saw that he was dealing with the unbelief of Israel at that time because of the, southern kingdom that was in the Jerusalem. It was all part of the prophecy so that the northern kingdom could receive the mercy. All right. But it broke the Lord's heart to see the unbelief of his people. But he wanted to gather them in like a chicken would do her little chickens, her little peeps, I guess you call them, or chicks. Chicks is the actual name. It says, but now what shall I do unto you? I will cast you out from my face. Okay, which we've been cast out all over the earth. We've been scattered throughout the world in slavery because we didn't serve the Lord joyfully. When ye offer unto me, I will turn my face from you. For your solemn feast days, your new moons, and your circumcisions have I forsaken. Which it tells you that in Isaiah 1. And verse 13, bring no more vain oblations. Incense is an abomination unto me. The new moons and Sabbaths, the calling of assemblies, I cannot. Away with it is iniquity, even the solemn meetings, because Israel were covered in sin, laden in sin. Your new moons and your appointed feasts, my soul hateth, they are a trouble unto me. I am weary to bear them. And when ye spread forth your hands, I will hide mine eyes from you. Meaning when you pray, I won't hear, because the Lord don't hear the prayers of sinners. Yea, when ye make many prayers, I will not hear. Your hands are full of blood. Wash you, which were washed by the word. Through Yahweh Shai we have remission of sin. Make you clean. Put away the evil of your doings from before mine eyes. Cease to do evil. Learn to do well. That's why we're in the scriptures day and night. Seek judgment. Relieve the oppressed, which are the Israelites. Teach the truth. Judge the fatherless. Teach the truth. Plead for the widow. Teach the truth. Come now and let us reason together through the truth, saith Yahweh. Though your sins be as scarlet, though you were like an Edomite, they shall be as white as snow. You'll come back into the light as an Israelite that serves Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Though they be red like crimson, they shall be as wool. Though you were putting on the image of Esau, the wicked, you now being converted to put on the image of Yahweh Shai. We're being converted from darkness unto light. If ye be willing and obedient, ye shall eat the good of the land. But if ye refuse and rebel, ye shall be devoured with the sword, and the mouth of the Lord has spoken it, which is going to happen in these last days. There's a great sword given to the Edomite, the so-called white race, and he's going to destroy Babylon the Great with that great sword, the nuclear missile. All right, and you're going to have Israelites that rejected the Lord in that lake of fire. All right, and the final act of rejection is going to be taking that implantable microchip, the mark of the beast, which will be disobedience. All right, and they'll be destroyed. But the obedient that stay faithful to Yahweh Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, they're going to be preserved. And this is going to be the repopulation of the earth. This is why the earth is going to be repopulated in righteousness. All right. Yep, I'm almost done. So we'll go right through. It says, verse 33, 2nd Ezra 1, verse 33, thus saith the Almighty Lord Yahweh, your house is desolate. I will cast you out as the wind does stubble. So he scattered us amongst the heathen. Your sons shall not be fruitful, for they have despised my commandment and done the thing that is an evil before me, which it was prophesied this would happen. Exodus 28 and 45. I'm sorry, Deuteronomy 28 and 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever, because he's only dealing with his Israelites, and were under the curses as Israelites that sinned. Verse 47, because thou servest not Yahweh thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. The Israelite took on the way of the heathen. That's why our sins were like scarlet and crimson. All right. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst, which you got to go to Walmart, Sam's Club, King Supers. You got to have permission to drive a car on the road. You got to have money. That's witchcraft with their ancestors on the paper, dead presidents. You got to have permission all the way around in your life. You got to have permission. You got to buy your water. You got to have permission to have water. You got to have permission to have food, right? They could throw you out of the store. They could put you in prison, which they're going to prove with this chip, that if you don't accept that chip, you're not going to be able to buy or sell. See, that implantable microchip, the mark of the beast, that's an idol worship, all right, which the Lord's going to preserve his elect from, all right, but the Israelites are going to be given over, so that, it fulfills the prophecy. But as the prophecy said, he's going to give them their heart's desire, all right. It says, which Yahweh shall send against thee. Therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck, which slavery they had iron yokes, until he have destroyed thee, which they're destroyed for the lack of knowledge, because they didn't tell us who we were. They said, you're a black person, you're a Negro, you're a Latino, you're a wetback, you're a Hispanic, you're an Indian, you're a Cherokee, you're a Navajo. They didn't tell you you were a Gadite. They didn't tell you you're a Judite. They didn't tell you you're an Issacharite. They said you're an illegal immigrant, right? So this is what it means. They destroyed thee. You don't even know who the fuck you are, right? You wake up thinking that you're a proud American in the land of the home of the free and brave, right? but in fact, you're in captivity and you're subject to payment, and you have to have permission for everything, which I just saw a video before I got on here. It came up on my timeline, and it was Jackson, Rampage Jackson, a UFC fighter, world famous. And he got this little fucking dirty ass Edomite fucking with him for recording himself in this public space. You know, and that shows you we're in slavery. He couldn't do fucking nothing to stop the dude from fucking with him. And he's better. Rampage Jackson, put aside that he's an Israelite, because that makes you better than all the nations right off the top. But he's world famous, rich. You know, they're following him with the camera for a reason. People want to see him. And you got this $10 an hour, $15 an hour fucking security guard, right? Fucking with this dude, throwing his whole thing into fucking tragedy. And it's because we're in captivity. The so-called white race, the Edomites, the wicked, they are oppressing us. And the other nations, they're confederate with them against us. All right? It says in verse 49, Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand, which is the Romans. They spoke Latin, all right, which today are the reincarnation of Rome is America. It says in verse 50, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor show favor to the young, which you see with their executive orders right now under Nero, right? They're taking away Social Security, they're taking away food stamps, they're taking away Medicare, right? It says in verse 51, and he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle and the fruit of thy land until thou be destroyed, which they're in our land. They're the counterfeits, the so-called white race, the red devil the Bible speaks of, Esau, Edom, which also shall not leave thee either corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, abortion clinics, look who started that, or flocks of thy sheep, until he have destroyed thee. All right? So just so you get the idea of what's going on, it says in 2 Ezra 1 verse 34, and your children shall not be fruitful, for they have despised my commandment, and done the thing that is evil before me. Your houses will I give to a people that shall come, which not having heard of me yet shall believe me, to whom I showed no signs, yet they shall do that I have commanded them. Which this generation, we didn't see Yahushua, right? We didn't see the time of the Red Sea opening and the crushing of the Egyptians. We didn't see all these miracles that were in the past, but we're in a generation that is known as being godless. And we have faith, and it's because the Lord has preserved us. He does not change. He said that he was going to preserve the Israelites. He made a promise to King David. He made a promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right? And he doesn't lie, so this is why we're not destroyed. It says in verse 36, they have seen no prophets, right? I remember when I was in the false churches, they used to tell me this, because I used to, get involved in stuff. They used to tell me behind the scenes. They said, I don't know how it's going to be. And I didn't even know this was in the Bible, actually. But they told me, how are the prophecies going to be fulfilled when these people are extinct? Not realizing that I was one of those people that they were claiming to be extinct. All right. It says, they have seen no prophets, yet they shall call their sins to remembrance and acknowledge them, which we're doing that now. We're remembering ourselves, right? It said in Isaiah 1, he would cause us to remember ourselves. Isaiah 1 and verse 20, I'll start at 20, let me see, 24. It says, therefore saith the Lord, Yahweh, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I lost my glasses, so my vision's a little blurry. Therefore saith the Lord, Yahweh of hosts, the mighty one of Israel, I will ease me of mine adversaries and avenge me of mine enemies, and I will turn my hand upon thee and purely purge away thy dross and take away all thy tin. He's going to get rid of the 2/3, the worthless Israelite. And I will restore thy judges as at the first, and thy counselors as at the beginning. Afterward thou shalt be called the city of righteousness, the faithful city. Zion, which are the Israelites, shall be redeemed with judgment, and her converts with righteousness. And the destruction of the transgressors and of the sinners shall be together, and they that forsake Yahweh shall be consumed in the lake of fire. The nuclear destruction of America, Babylon the Great, it's going to suffer nuclear destruction. It's going to be turned into a lake of fire. All right, it says in verse 36, 2 Ezra 1, verse 36, they have seen no prophets, yet they shall call their sins to remembrance and acknowledge them. I take to witness the grace of the people to come, whose little ones rejoice in gladness, and though they have not seen me with bodily eyes, yet in spirit they believe the thing that I say, which it tells you. All right, that in Isaiah 59 and 20, the Redeemer shall come to Zion, starting with his elect, and unto them that turn from transgression, the ones that hear our prophecy, they believed and are sealed in Jacob. It's only for the Israelites, saith Yahweh. As for me, this is my covenant with them, saith Yahweh. My spirit that is upon thee, and my words which I put in thy mouth, which you have this, because the Lord is going to deliver you and save you and change you and make you immortal, shall not depart out of thy mouth, nor out of the mouth of thy seed. Once you believe, you're going to be sealed, nor out of the mouth of thy seed, because you were chosen for deliverance, saith Yahweh, from henceforth and forever. So you're going to receive the kingdom of heaven, and you're going to be put back in the promised land, which, I hope to be in that number myself. Isaiah 14 and 1, for Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, so it's only for the Israelite, and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers, which are Israelites that have been scattered throughout the world, shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them, the heathen, the other nations, in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids, which they're going to be our slaves. And they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors, which are the other nations. Remember, salvation is only for the Israelites. It says in 2 Ezra 1, verse 37, let me see. No, we read that one, verse 38. And now, brother, behold, what glory, and see the people that come from the east, unto whom I will give for leaders Abraham, Abba Bivens, Isaac, and Jacob, Osias, Amos, and Micah, Joel, Abadias, and Jonas, Nahum, which, if you're not noticed, these are the scriptures, all right, which that's what we're reflecting, right? We're giving that light that is this truth. We're radiating this truth that the Lord promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all right? And out of Jacob came the Israelites, and the Lord has always reconfirmed with the Israelites that these promises are ours. Nahum Habakkuk, which is Habakkuk, Sophonies. Let's see, I'll have it read out loud. Sophonies, or you know, let me hear. I do it like this, so I don't butcher the names. So, Second Ezra 1, verse 40, Nahum, Habakkuk, Zephaniah, Haggai, Zechariah, and Malachi, also called an angel of the Lord, as leaders Yahweh will give to his people. See? So these are the prophets which we have. And angels as ministers, right? The Lord made his ministers a flame of fire by giving them his spirit. All right? So with that, I give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Ha Rekah Kodash, double honors, and to our apostle elders, which rule great millstone well, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel, Wa Abba Babal.